Hi children, hope all are safe at home. Today let us start the 9th standard mathematics lines and angle lesson. Before going to the chapter, let us see what are the main concepts in this lesson. The main concepts are basic terms and definitions, pair of angles, parallel lines and a transversal, angle sum property of a triangle. So, before going in detail, let us recall what are the concepts we have already studied in our previous series. Okay. For that, first let me ask you, what is a line segment? Yes, very good. A line segment is a part of a line, it has two endpoints, isn't it? So, a line segment is a part of a line, it has two endpoints. Next one, a ray. What is a ray? A ray is also a part of a line which has only one endpoint. Okay. Do you know that what is meant by collinear points? Yes, very good. Collinear points are points, they lie on the same line. That means, three or more points lie on the same line, we call that as collinear points. Okay. So, let us come in detail to this lesson. First one, we are dealing with angles, isn't it? So, first let us see what is meant by an angle. Two rays have a common point form an angle. For example, if OA and OB are two rays, it is intersecting at a point O, then it forms an angle AOB. Okay. So, in lower classes we study different kinds of angles. Okay. So, first let us see what are the different kinds of angles. Right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle, straight angle, reflex angle and complete angle, isn't it? So, one by one let us see the definition of each one. Okay. So, first right angle. A right angle, an angle whose measure is 90 degree, we call that as a right angle. Okay. Understood children? What is a right angle? An angle whose measure is 90 degree is called as a right angle. Next one is acute angle. Acute angle, an angle whose measure is greater than 0 and less than 90 degree is called as an acute angle. Next is obtuse angle, an angle whose measure is greater than 90 and less than 180 is called obtuse angle. Next one is straight angle. So, straight line we know that, isn't it? Straight line it forms a 180 degree. So, what is meant by a straight angle? An angle whose measure is 180 is called a straight angle. Okay. Next one is reflex angle. What is meant by a reflex angle? Yes, very good. An angle whose measure is greater than 180 and less than 360 is called a reflex angle. Complete angle, that means what? It forms a circle, isn't it? So, what is the complete angle? 360 degree. So, the definition of a complete angle is an angle whose measure is 360 degree, we called as a complete angle. Okay. Now, let us see what are the complementary angles and supplementary angles. Do you know very well what is meant by complementary angles? Two angles are said to be complementary if their sum of measures is 90 degree, isn't it? So, can you give one example? Yes, very good. 30 degree and 60 degree are complementary angles to each other, because if we are adding 30 plus 60, we are getting the answer as 90 degree. So, these two are complementary angles. Next one, supplementary angles. Two angles are said to be supplementary if their sum is 180 degree. That means, the sum of its measures is 180 degree. So, 60 degree and 120 degree are supplementary angle to each other, because if we are adding the measures of these two angles, we are getting the result as 180 degree. So, understood children, what is meant by complementary angle and supplementary angle. Next, let us see what is meant by adjacent angles. Okay. So, two angles are said to be adjacent if they have a common vertex, if they have a common arm and the non-common arms are on either side of the common arm. When we can say that two angles are adjacent? First case is if they have a common vertex. Next one, it has a common arm. Then the third case is the non-common arms are on either side of the common arm. Next we will see linear pair of angles. So, linear pair of angles we are dealing with two adjacent angles. That is the reason I gave the definition of adjacent angle first. Okay. So, two adjacent angles are said to form a linear pair if they are non-common arms form two opposite rays. So, what is meant by linear angles? Linear pair of angles? Two adjacent angles are said to form linear pair of angles if their non-common arms form two opposite rays. So, you know very well, if it forms an opposite rays, what will be the angle measure? Very good, 180 degrees. So, it forms a straight line, isn't it? Next, we will see some theorem based on these angles. Okay. So, the first theorem is linear pair theorem. So, linear pair theorem says that if a ray stands on a line, the sum of two adjacent angles is 180 degree. So, what is linear pair theorem? If a ray stands on a line, the sum of two adjacent angles is 180 degree. Suppose BC is a line, OA is a ray stands on this line, then we can say that angle AOB plus angle AOC equal to 180 degree. So, the application of this one, they will ask some questions like this. They will give AOC as 30 degree and they will ask you to find out AOB. How you will find out? So, we have to apply the linear pair theorem. Angle AOB plus angle AOC we are getting as 180. So, any one of the angle is there means substitute the value in that. The other angle is 180 minus 30, that is 150 degree you will get. Okay. So, application of theorem also cleared, children. Next, let us see vertically opposite angles. Two lines intersect each other, the vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay. So, what is the theorem based on vertically opposite angle? If two lines intersect each other, the vertically opposite angles are equal. Two lines AB and CD intersect at O, it forms four angles. What are the four angles? Angle AOB, angle BOC, angle AOC and angle AOD, isn't it? So, here angle AOD and angle BOC are vertically opposite angles. In the same manner, angle BOD and angle AOC are vertically opposite angle and angle AOC and angle BOD are vertically opposite angles. Okay. So, if any one of the angle is given means we can find out the other angle very easily, because using the theorem if two lines intersect each other, the vertically opposite angles are equal. If one of the angles is given means suppose AB is a line and OD is a ray stands on it, if you are applying linear pair we can find out the other pair of opposite angles also very easily. Next concept is parallel lines and a transversal. What is meant by parallel lines? If two lines are endlessly extending in both the direction, it will not intersect. That type of lines we called as parallel lines. So, we can see lot of examples around us. We can see two lines, the bottom and top lines you see, if you are extending in both the direction, it will not intersect. So, these type of lines we called as parallel lines. Do you know that what is meant by transversal? In your 7th standard and 8th standard you studied that, isn't it? So, a transversal is a straight line cutting two or more parallel lines. So, what is meant by a transversal? A transversal is a straight line cutting two or more parallel lines. So, a transversal cut two parallel lines, it forms 8 angles. I am given the names as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So, 4 pair of corresponding angles as 1 and 5, 2, 6, 3, 7 and 4, 8. These are called the pair of corresponding angles, and 2 pairs of alternate interior angles and 2 pair of alternate exterior angles. Okay. So, if a transversal cut two parallel lines, one theorem is there. Let us see the theorem. If a transversal cut two parallel lines, then their corresponding angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, sum of co-interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Okay. So, what is the theorem says that if a transversal cut two parallel lines, the corresponding angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, whether it is interior or exterior, both the cases it must be equal. And the third case is sum of co-interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Supplementary means what? If you are adding that two angles, we will get the sum as 180 degree, isn't it? Suppose if they are given any one of the angles, we can use the vertically opposite angle concept and linear pair and a transversal cut. And if a transversal cut, the corresponding angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, sum of co-interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Application of this, we can find out the remaining 7 angles very easily. Okay? The next concept is angle sum property of a triangle. So, do you know that what is the sum of 3 angles of a triangle? Yes, 180 degree. That is the theorem based here. That is the sum of 3 angles of a triangle is 180 degree. That is the angle sum property of a triangle. Okay? So, understood the concept clearly, children? So, let us recall what are the concepts, new concepts we studied in this lesson. The first theorem, linear pair theorem, that is if a ray stands on a line, the sum of adjacent angles is 180 degree. Next one is if two lines intersect each other, the vertically opposite angles are equal. And the third concept is if a transversal cut two parallel lines, the corresponding angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, sum of co-interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Okay? So, I hope all understood clearly. Thank you, children.